What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Trick 10s. Now, I know what you're thinking. You saw the thumbnail and you're wondering, where in the world did this Venom themed boat build come from? Well, this boat is the 20-hour boat build challenge that I did while Billy was painting his boat. It's a 1442 well build. I did all of the metal work into it, hooked up the live well. The only thing I didn't have time to do was finish up this back transom area from the back bench seat to the transom. I wanted to do this build for him, but there just wasn't enough time, and I had to get the creature build finished up. The customer took the boat back. He did all the electrical and hooked up all the wiring, and then he reached out to me and said that he wanted to do a theme build. He told me about Venom, he told me about the wrap, he showed me the turf he wanted to put in this thing, and I was sold. He put the bait out there and I bit it like a gigantic largemouth bass. There was no way I could say no to this build. This thing looks so sick, and I'm so glad that this thing is finished up. This turf color that he used, this looks almost like the symbiote of the Venom itself. It is a black marble hydroturf. It's also a personal watercraft color, just like the creature build and the Rasta camo that I put into Mary Jane. I turfed this entire boat in about 5 hours. I did this the same night after we finished putting all the rest of the metal into the back deck. This was one of those days where I just wanted to get this thing done. I was already working on the Yin 10, but I just could not turn this down. So I put all this turf in here. It turned out really cool. It was pretty easy to install. He had 5 sheets of it, so I had lots of turf, and I made sure that I had just enough to finish every piece of the interior of this entire rig. The guy that owns this boat only lives about 15 minutes away from me. The way I met him was because he actually won the first Trick 10s charity tournament that I put on with Top Drop with Bass Lives Matters last summer. When he came over to pick up some of his winnings, I got to talking with him, and he told me that he really wanted to do a boat build. He was going to try to find a boat, and he did. And the thing is sick. It just turned out amazing, and it's so cool, the power of social media and the way that these things work out, because this guy is right down the street from me. We've been neighbors, and I probably would have never known who he was if it hadn't have been for social media. I turfed all of the walls of this boat, everything, all the way up to the gunnels. At this point, I knew that I was going to get this turf finished up, but the wrap was still going to be about 2 or 3 weeks out before they could get us in. But that was fine, because I still had the Yin 10 sitting next door in my dad's garage. I had to get back to work on this thing and finish it up. But this was one of the hardest things I've had to keep a secret, because I was so hyped about installing this colorway of this turf and the fact that it's going to be wrapped with Venom. I knew that this was going to be way over the top, and I did my best not to tell anybody about it. And I'm so hyped that we are finally at the reveal video, guys. This clip right here with all of this installed hydroturf was from about 3 weeks ago. And just like clockwork, AG Wraps was ready to do this thing. They hit me up. We got the whole entire boat wrapped. I brought it back over to my house a couple of days ago, and I had to put some LED lights inside of this because I really wanted to install those lights before I did this reveal video. I put a bunch of stickers and decals throughout the entire boat, and I took this thing out on the water for the final reveal and the water test. Stay tuned, guys. It's only a couple of seconds before this video really changes gears. We are out on the water again doing the final reveal video of the Venom boat. Now this thing is sick. My favorite part of the whole boat is the wrap. I mean, it just brought this thing together. The truth about this boat is that I had no idea it was going to be what it is, but this thing turned out really cool. I mean, the turf almost looks like a symbiote of the Venom, and then the whole outside wrap just really made this thing sick. I'm going to give you guys the full walkthrough and the once over of this boat, but the boat itself is a well-built 1442. It's actually the smallest well built that I've ever built. I think it's cool though. It'd be a perfect solo man rig, but yet it's still big enough you can fish comfortably with a partner. Let's get up on the front right here. I'll show you what we got. All right, so up here on the front of the boat, he's got a Minn Kota Maxim 24-volt trolling motor, and this thing is hooked up with a Garmin 93 SV. He's got the GT56 transducer on the bottom of that trolling motor. This is a custom recessed foot pedal tray. I did cut all this stuff and put this in here. He actually did a lot of work on this. He installed the trolling motor and the graph bridge all himself. He did all the wiring for that. Now obviously this boat build was part of the whole 20-hour boat build challenge, so I didn't have time to do all this stuff. A lot of the electrical in this boat was done by the customer. This thing is pretty sweet the way it's set up. This is a tournament John boat. Him and his son fish out of this thing religiously every weekend. All right, so he does have a seat pedestal base installed underneath of this hydroturf. That way he can have a seat up here in the front. And right behind that, we have a big storage compartment. This compartment is the same size as the bottom of the hull, so it's 42 inches wide. Now originally, I had put his batteries in the back of the boat into the back bench area, but he moved them up here for weight distribution, and he's got one on either side, port and starboard, shoved up in the corners up here. He also moved his battery tender and his main power switch up here inside of this compartment, but he still has a ton of room and space up inside of here. Right behind that is our live well. This thing has a 20-gallon live well in it. It's got the flow right system in it, and he's caught a lot of fish in here. These guys fish at tournaments. This thing has seen a lot of fish already, and I can't wait to see how they come out at the end of this season. Now next to that, this is very typical of all my builds. This electrical panel hatch is a little bit different. I made it longer and skinnier because the boat itself isn't as wide as most of the boats that I build. So I made this electrical hatch longer instead of being more squared off, and it works perfectly. He's got his switch panel in here and his fuse panel in here. Now he did do all the electrical in this boat himself. The only thing I had hooked up in here was his pumps for the live well. I did come back and install some LED strip lights. I just hooked those up in here, but he did a good job doing all of this. And the way this pan works, if you need to get up underneath of it, it's actually not screwed in. So you can just take this thing and pull it right out, get to all the wires and everything up underneath of here. I am gonna put some screws in there. I just left it out so I can show you guys how that works in this video. The pumps are also right underneath there for the live well fill and the live well recirculate. This is a good sized deck, lots of storage area up here, a nice tournament grade live well. I mean, you can't really get much more out of a front deck. That brings us into the midsection of the boat. Now we have a good sized drop down floor. I can sit in here and I got long legs. I can still have enough room to put a tackle box or a cooler up inside of here and sit comfortably. I did build these side panels in here. I did not incorporate any more type of storage in here. They're basically just full of foam. Same type of deal as all my builds. I've got cup holders on port and starboard. These are important. These also give you access to get up underneath of here and pull wires through if you need to. And they're pretty sweet. You never have too many cup holders in the boat. Now he did pair the 73 Garmin SV on the side. This is on a Ram swing arm mount, and this thing is perfect. It's exactly what you need for your backseat boater. And if he wants to turn it around, you can spin it around and look at it from the front. The whole layout of this thing is sick. It is basically a tournament John boat. It's everything you need to go out there and slay and catch fish all day long and keep them alive. So that gets us into the back deck. Now this area right here was the original back bench seat. I did cut two big holes in here. I dug all the foam out and I put these two drop-in dry hatches in here. All these hatches have drain tubes in them to make sure everything stays completely dry. Originally, this is where the batteries were, right here, mounted in the center of this dead area right here. Well, without them in there, he's got a ton of room in here. We put a floor in here and this thing can hold a lot of tackle. He can load this thing up with all the gear, safety gear, whatever he needs to put in here. He's got a lot of space inside of here. Right behind that, we've got a big hatch. Now this hatch is a little bit different. In the original build series, I never finished this back off. I just did not have the time to get to it, so I left this out. Now, in the beginning of this video, you saw me building this in here. The way that we did this hatch is different, and I think it's pretty sick. This allows you to install one of these hatches with your motor right here on a close jack plate, and it still allows everything to open up and get your hoses inside of here. This hatch right here is made so that it has a cutout in it. You can see I cut right through the drop-in hatch track frame on the back just to allow for the hose and the power cables to go in here. Inside of this back compartment right here is typical. He's got a gas tank in here. He's got storage on the other side. I went ahead and threw our life jackets and throwable in here. He's also got a bilge pump inside of here, and it gives him room to have some extra tackle storage back here. This hatch turned out sick though. If you're interested in finishing off your back deck and making it like this, I can build the hatch just like this and ship it to your door. It makes it cool. It already comes with the cutout. You don't have to worry about it. It's got this extra support in here to help stiffen for the cutout and the break into the back of the transom. I'm gonna do another video on this exact hatch and show you guys how I made this and installed it into this boat. All right, so let's get on to this motor. Now, he did want me to build him a custom jack plate. I think I'm probably gonna end up having to do that because I just ran this thing around, and let me tell you, this motor sucks. This thing is a true 9.9. It's the same exact motor that is on the Yen 10. The only difference is this boat's a lot heavier than the Yen 10 because it's a solid welded boat. It's not a lot heavier, but this thing can only get this boat going about 9-10 miles an hour with me and my son in it. Now, it's just dredging through the water. It's not getting up on plane, not even close. If this was my motor, I would sell this thing instantly. I would go out and either get one of the new Tohatsus or the new Suzukis, or he'd probably be fine with one of the older 2-stroke 9.9 Yamahas with the upgraded 15 horsepower reeds, because this thing is not going to push this boat. I don't care what you do to it. Even if you upgrade the carbs on this, it's not going to be anywhere as fast as the Yamaha outboards are. He's got it mounted on this jack plate that he bought online. It's not a bad jack plate. I think he only paid like 120 bucks for it, but it doesn't do exactly what it needs. Now, this motor is sitting just a tad bit too high, and it just doesn't have enough power to get the thing up on plane. But I'm gonna take this thing out of the water. I'm gonna run around for a few minutes and see how it does with just me in it, and then I'm gonna give him some feedback on this thing, and we'll see what we can come up with. I think you guys are gonna see this boat back on the channel before too long.
When they come by here on their boats, they can care less about their weight.
Yeah, I know. We're not bothering you out here.
Not at all, no. No, it concerns me when the boy's standing on the dock and a boat goes by.
Yeah.
He gets flipped right off in the water.
This kid probably knows more about boats than everybody that drives by here.
Yeah. No,
I build these little boats like this for a living, and I mean, he's been on the water forever. But yeah, I just came out here to shoot a little reveal video of it.
Yeah, I saw you shoot this video.
Yeah, I've got a YouTube channel, and I mean, basically just a bare bones John boat. I'm a welder fabricator, so I build all the aluminum in it, and then just do all the finished work.
Nice looking boat.
I appreciate it. Yeah, it's for customers.
Yeah.
It's a hobby. Yeah, I see them.
Slow down, buddy.
Yeah.
I don't understand why people don't get the fact that they're responsible for their own weight.
I know.
But
It is what it
proving
is.
that they've damaged something is near impossible.
Yeah. Hey, puppy. What's your name?
That's Misha. She likes coming down here eating
You got a nice dock here, man. Where's your boat at?
it's down at Top Rack.
Okay, yeah. Probably a lot easier to just get them to put it in the water for you.
Well, I like keeping it on the lift, but I travel so much. And when I finally got back, the seagulls had basically destroyed it.
Wow.
I mean, the Yamaha 300s on the back,
Yeah.
that was just caked with seagull poop.
That's crazy, man.
It took me 4 days to get it off just the engines.
Wow.
So I said, you know what, I spent all this money on the boat. It's a beautiful Grady White 30-footer.
Yeah.
And I couldn't see leaving it here and letting the elements destroy it. Joe had a canopy on top.
Okay.
And it blew up. And it was the second time it blew off, and he said, Marty, I'm not going to spend any more money on it. I'll just put it. She's not sure about you because you're in the boat.
Yeah. I mean, that's tough.
Yeah.
Well,
But I'll keep it here when I'm in town. I'll keep the boat on the lift and come and go here, but I always bring it back down there.
yeah.
It's safe from hurricanes down there too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, make yourself at home.
Well, I appreciate that, man. And
Just don't let anybody knock you off with the wake. People are nuts, especially when they open the locks.
oh yeah, I'm familiar. We live 5 minutes from here. I mean, we fish out here all the
So
time.
you know about the big Hatteras sports fishermen coming through here.
Oh yeah, you don't have the 70-foot boats coming through throwing 5-foot weight.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. The problem is that most of those Hatteras boats that go through here, when they're going north or south, it's a private captain
Yeah.
that's running it for the owner. And he's charged with getting it from here to there as far as he's concerned, as fast as he can.
Yep.
Because then he can pick up another boat and make more money on the way back.
Exactly.
Anyway, have a
All
good
right.
afternoon.
Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate you letting us come out here.
You're welcome.
Have a good weekend. That's how you should be, guys. The guy was super nice. He didn't care about us being out here, and I think that's awesome. I mean, that's how I would be if I had a dock like this and I saw somebody out here. They're not hurting anybody. They're not hurting me. So kudos to that guy. Marty, I appreciate you letting us use your dock. We will be shooting all of our YouTube videos out here for the reveal videos right here on this dock. Get in the boat, son. Let's get out of here. Come on. What do you think about driving it? You ready for me to build you your own boat?
I don't like how it goes this way like this.
I think you should build your own boat. Alright guys, so we're going to cruise on back into the dock. This thing was doing about 11 miles an hour while I was out there by myself. Well, he really needs to upgrade this motor. This thing is never going to be what it could be. The potential of this thing is to probably run 20 plus miles an hour easily. I mean, if you had a nice motor on it, the creature build with a 1448 with a 9915 Yamaha, and that thing was running 24 miles an hour. So there's no reason this thing shouldn't be going faster than that. This is a 1442, in essence it's smaller and it's lighter and it should be faster. So I'm gonna see if I can get another motor from a buddy of mine and just take this thing out again and try it, because the guy that owns this boat lives close by to me. Before he actually pulls the trigger and gets a motor, we're gonna find the exact fit he needs for this thing. We're gonna head back to the dock and let my son drive us up there. We're gonna go take some pictures and try to get some extra footage for the other social media sites. All right, so the whole wrap on this thing brings the whole boat together. It looks sick. As always, AG Wraps, they always hook it up. They do a killer job on this. And this customer knew that if he wanted to get this thing wrapped with a Venom wrap, I was gonna have to put this turf in here and finish this build up. He kind of suckered me into it. I couldn't say no to this job just because I love Venom. Venom, the Punisher. I've got two of my favorite characters done. The only one I haven't done is Wolverine. Those are my top 3 favorite Marvel superheroes, but this thing turned out sick. I mean, the whole graphic and everything, it fits perfectly with the turf and the whole colorway and scheme. I'm hyped about this, guys. Are you kidding me? Venom? This boat is so epic. The theme is perfect. I love this wrap job, and the turf just brought it all together. It's so awesome. I'm glad I got a chance to finish this thing up and put it together. Thank you guys for helping me hit 10,000 subscribers. I'm looking at 20 now. I am going to be doing a giveaway. You'll be seeing that video dropping very shortly. I appreciate you guys watching. Hit that like and subscribe button, guys. I'll see y'all next time. I got to get back to work.